I want you to imagine the worst ever business idea in India. A customer orders a 70 rupee bar of ice cream or a single packet of chips or one bottle of cold drink, and your job is to get it to their door in 10 minutes flat. Now think about everything that you have to pay for to make that happen. You need a dark store, which is a mini warehouse sitting in an expensive city locality. You need to pay rent for that dark store. You need people and machines inside that dark store to pick up and pack the order. You need packaging materials. You need a delivery rider on standby. And on top of all of that, you also have to give the customer a discount and free delivery incentives. All of that just to deliver one bar of ice cream worth 70 rupees. Now, does that sound like a business that should make any amount of money? Of course not, right? And for years, that is exactly what the smartest people said. They called quick commerce a money burning machine. And honestly, they did have a point. Take Zepto as an example. In the financial year of 2026, their revenue doubled. But in the very same year, they lost 5,905 crore rupees. So the skeptics were not really being stupid. On paper, this does look like one of the most broken business models in the country. But here is where the story gets a little more interesting. See, while people were focusing on how much money these apps were losing on delivery, these apps on the other hand started making money from something completely different, and that is advertising. Basically, more and more brands suddenly started paying apps like Blinkit, Swiggy, Instamart and Zepto just to be visible to us consumers. Very simply put, when you open a Blinkit and let's say search for a packet of chips, most likely the first option on top will be a paid one where a brand has paid for the spot. The same thing happens for other categories like snacks, cold drinks, chocolates, shampoos and so on. And this, mind you, is not a small amount of money. A good slot on these applications can cost a brand lakhs of rupees per day. Basically, the same apps that a lot of people had written off as money burning machines were now suddenly sitting on a second business model that a very few people were really talking about, and that is the interesting story that I want to talk about in today's video. I want to broadly cover three things. Number one, how is a business that loses money on almost every single order still alive and is still growing? Number two, how did an app that was built to deliver you groceries turn into an advertising business? And third, and this is an important one, does all of this advertising money actually fix quick commerce as a business, or is it just buying these companies some more time to become sustainable? My name is Bansal and let's decode. Now, one of the biggest reasons quick commerce companies were able to turn into advertising businesses is because of our psychology and the way we shop. I'll explain this. See, think about how we used to buy groceries before quick commerce had come. You would probably sit down, make a list of all the regular household stuff like rice, dal, atta, oil, soap, shampoo, etc. And then either once a week or maybe once a month, you would go to your local supermarket or your local kirana store. And if you shop online, then you would probably open an app like Big Basket and you would place one big order for the entire week or the entire month. Basically, the idea was that you sat down, you planned, and you stocked up your house for the next few weeks or months. In that kind of shopping, the important part to notice is that it happens rarely. In the past, nobody really opened a grocery app or they went to a grocery shop 5 times a day to plan their monthly ration, right? Now, let's compare this to how quick commerce works. See, the concept of making a shopping list is almost entirely gone now. You might realize you have one ingredient less while you're cooking, or you might suddenly start craving ice cream or something in the middle of the night. And at that moment, all you do is simply open your phone and place an order from quick commerce then and there. Now, do you see a difference here? See, this is not planned shopping at all. This is shopping driven by a certain need or a certain craving. And this is important, so I want you to understand this properly. See, earlier a craving had the time to die. Think about it. Before quick commerce, if you wanted an ice cream at midnight, what would you really do? You would probably think of getting up, changing your clothes, walking down to the nearest store, and then hoping it is still open. And here's the thing, by the time you imagined all that effort, the craving would have simply gone. So basically, that gap between wanting something and actually getting it is where most cravings used to die in the past. But quick commerce now has completely removed that gap. It has reduced the gap from wanting to getting to just 10 minutes. And because of that, cravings do not really get the time to die. They become an order before they can ever die. And the reason this is so powerful is because once these things start happening, a very important thing changes in our behavior as consumers without us even realizing it. We suddenly stop opening these apps once a week like old grocery apps, and we start opening them again and again, probably multiple times a day. Now, I'm sure the question in your head is, how is this open app frequency even related to advertising that we were talking about? Let me explain this to you very simply. See, every time you open a quick commerce app, you see quite a few things. You look at a home screen, you see a search bar, you scroll past some banners and products, and you also see a checkout page, and you also see delivery tracking, etc. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the entire application of Swiggy, Instamart, Blinkit, or a Zepto is a big advertising spot. So, long story short, here is the simple math. If you open the app once a week, that is one set of advertising slots. But if you open the same app 10 times a week, that is 10 times the same number of advertising slots. Basically, the more often you use the app, the more advertising spaces these companies have to sell. But the number of slots is just half the story. The bigger and more important thing is the mindset that people are in when they actually see these advertisements. I'll explain this. See, think about when you open a quick commerce app in the first place. You're not really there to browse or just to pass your time in most cases, right? You're there because you want something and you want it right now. And I now want you to think about how often you are short of the free delivery limit. You might have a couple of things in your cart, but you need to add a little more to skip the delivery fee. So a lot of times you're just hunting for one or two more things to add. And now imagine right then, if an ad shows you something interesting, would you buy it? Of course you would, right? The ad did not interrupt or irritate you. It did the job of solving a small problem that you already have, which is free delivery at that moment. Now, broadly speaking, there are two reasons why brands are very happy with this. The first one is that brands can measure these ads very, very easily. I'll explain why. See, with a traditional television ad or a social media influencer ad, a brand is usually unsure if that was the ad which actually made somebody buy a product. But on quick commerce apps, they can actually see things very clearly right from when the ad was shown to how the product went into the cart and what exactly happened after that as well. And because they're able to see results, they're also happy to spend more advertising money on these apps itself. The second reason is discovery. See, earlier, if you started a new snack or a drink brand, for example, the hardest part was to reach your consumers. You had to physically get your product into thousands of shops across the country, which basically took years and a lot of distribution money. But on an online store, once you are listed, you can just pay to show up when someone searches for you. And quick commerce basically makes this even easier because you can plan all of this in a more area specific and a city specific manner instead of only in a country-wide manner. Now, if you think about it, all of this works because of just one thing, and that is timing. But the reality is that most marketing efforts never even get to that point. A brand is usually trying to reach customers long before they are anywhere close to buying anything. And that job has only gotten harder because everywhere you look, there is content fighting for your attention. And to make things worse, a lot of it is just AI slop. So for a lot of brands, the real problem is not how to reach you anymore, it is how to build actual trust with you in this entirely noisy world. Now, I recently attended a session by Zoom called the Marketing Remix, and this is exactly what their CMO spoke about. The main idea was very simple. When everyone has AI and content is everywhere, making even more content is probably the wrong idea here. The brands that eventually do well are the ones that build deeper on a few moments where people actually care about them. One of the interesting examples from the event was this small team of just two people who managed to influence about 23% of their company's deals from just their online event strategy. Also, beyond this case study, the event also covered simple ways to tell whether people actually care about your brand instead of just counting likes and views on social media, and finally, how to follow up like a pro after your events take place. The full session, by the way, is now free to watch on demand. So if you are a marketer and you're looking to create more human connections through events, please do go through it and watch it. I'm leaving a link in the description below. Anyway, now coming back to quick commerce, by now you can probably see why so much money is being put into these companies. In fact, to put some numbers to it for you, let's take a look at Zepto once again because they recently filed their DRHP and their numbers are fairly public now. Zepto's advertising revenue went from 49 crore rupees to 651 crore rupees to 1636 crore rupees in a matter of just 2 years. And another very interesting number is that the amount of money Zepto spent on marketing for each order fell from around 34 rupees to just 1 rupee. That basically tells you that the quick commerce habit, at least in the places where quick commerce is operational right now, is very well set. People are coming back on their own and they don't really need offers or discounts or incentives to come back because the habit is formed. And the reason this is so important from an advertising perspective is because when you know people are going to come back to your platform without any offers or promotions, you suddenly become more confident to charge more from brands for ads because you know you will be able to deliver on them. And you know why this is so powerful? Because showing you an ad costs a quick commerce company practically nothing. Unlike fulfilling an order over here, there is no rider, there is no packaging, there is no dark store cost and so on. Basically, the point is, while quick commerce companies are losing money almost on every single delivery, the ad money is almost pure profit for them. But like almost everything else in the world, there is also a catch here. See, as clever as this ad business might look from the outside, the reality is that it has not really fixed everything. Let's quickly go back to our Zepto example example because we have clearer numbers over there. Their ad revenue grew massively like we just saw, but in that very same year, they still lost close to 6,000 crore rupees. So even after all of that growth, the ad money is just a very small part of the story. The delivery itself loses money on most orders. And of course, when quick commerce companies as a concept scales to other parts of India, the companies will also have to start burning a lot more money once again to acquire customers and build trust in those newer areas. So it's not like the losses will end tomorrow anyway. So yes, these ads are a great bonus business for these quick commerce companies because it buys them more time, it gives them stable source of profitable incomes, and it creates competition on the application for brands to even stick around. But at the end of the day, the biggest question is, can these quick commerce companies really use the time that they have borrowed from ancillary businesses like advertisements to actually make delivery pay for itself before they burn out? Because like you might have figured by now, the fight was never really about speed literally, it was about who owns your attention the moment you're about to spend your money. And that's very important. That's all from my side in today's video. I hope you learned something useful and valuable from it. If you did, I would love for you to please subscribe to my channel because it keeps me motivated to make more such videos for you. It would also be of great help if you could like this video so it gets recommended to more people like you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.